today's project is our paper flower bouquets. So if you're thinking, what project can I help my child make for their mom for Valentine's Day? Or what can I make for my wife? Or what can I make for myself? Anything like that. Maybe you have a wedding coming up. Maybe you're interested in starting to learn how to make paper flowers. I almost did that, but I was too busy for my wedding. So anyway, I'm going to show you two simple beginner paper flowers. I think they're really easy. I think they're fun. I think they turn out really cute, so I hope you like them too. As always, we're open here at the PAC. We have our Couples Winter Blast Gallery happening in our gallery. It's our exhibit. We're open Tuesday through Sunday. And yeah, we have some classes and things coming up too. So I hope you look into those and you join us for those as well. All right, let's get started. Our first project today, our first craft is we're gonna do a tissue paper flower. I'm just gonna hold that up so you guys can see it a little bit more. This one's white. I also did some painting on some other coffee filters. So there'll be different colors as I'm showing them to you today. All right, so you need a coffee filter, you need some scissors, and you need a pipe cleaner. Here we go. All right, step one, if you'd like to, you can color your coffee filter. So I took dot markers to this one and I did a combination of pink and orange and yellow. Okay. Another fun way to do this with your child, if you're helping a child with this project, is to have them color with marker. And then you dip it in water really gently and you pull it out and you let it dry. It kind of gives it, it helps the marker bleed through the coffee filter and it gives it more of a finished look, I would say. All the marker bleeds through, blends together, and it covers more consistently than my dot markers. But I thought this was kind of fun. If you don't know what a dot marker is, they're these cool tubes. You can hear that there's liquid in them. You untwist it and then the base is a dot. And so for littles, it's a really great tool to help them play with paint, but it's not super messy, non-toxic, washable, things like that. So dot markers, really fun. So anyway, you could have your child dot marker one up. You could leave it white. You could try coloring with marker, dipping it in. You could color the water with food coloring. You could dip it in there too. And then you want it to be completely dry before making your flower. Okay, so once we decide what color our coffee filter should be, we're going to flatten it out and then cut a triangle from the middle and up, so like a piece of the pie. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut out a triangle from the middle. Okay. Just look like this, kind of like a Pac-Man style. We have our triangle cut. Our next step is going to be rolling the flower. So this is a great, for littles, this is a great textile activity, right? It's a different feeling. Coffee filters are relatively inexpensive. So if you go through a couple doing this, you know what I mean, it's not, there's no harm there. Okay. My daughter Liv would probably just try and eat the coffee filter at this point. And we're gonna roll. So as you can see, I'm just rolling it nice and tight. You can play with what it looks like in a little bit, but we wanna roll it into a tube. Well, into like a cone shape, you know, tighter at the bottom and then it'll be more full at the top, but we'll play with that in just a little bit. Because again, flowers have these beautiful petals that kind of layer out. So I did a really tight circle. You can see that here, okay, a little rosette. Now if I want to, I can go through and manipulate it to help it become a little bit more fluffy, okay? So as you roll, you want to kind of play with it and maybe start with a tighter roll and then loosen to get more of those layers. Okay, so here's a little tiny rosette. I'm going to unroll this a little bit and then loosen as I go, just to get a little bit of a different effect, just to show you guys. Okay, so again, I'm rolling really tight down at the base. And then I'm going to start loosening here, but not too loose. You don't want it to be too drastic of a change. But I do want to have some more layers. And I'm kind of pushing the coffee filter up as I go to keep that a little bit more consistent. Okay, here. So now you can see, maybe it looks the same. that there are some different layers in here, okay? Our next step, okay, as you can see here, this one I tied a little bit looser, this one's tighter. You could also, just hang in there before we finish our flower, you could take another filter and you could wrap again. So let me just show you what that would look like. I'm gonna cut this one, another little triangle. I feel like I should have some music playing. Also, you guys don't know this, but it's like very warm in here, so I can see myself getting more and more red as I go. The windows in our classroom, if you've never been, or if you've only driven past the Art Center, you'll see the like southeast corner of our building, all the windows. And they're beautiful, they let in all of this natural light, but it gets so warm in here when the sun is hitting. Where can I find different colored coffee filters? Oh, the pink flower was so pretty. Thank you. The coffee filters, we're just painting them. We're just painting them. Again, if you want a more, this one's dot markers, but if you want a more consistent like color, I would either color it with marker and then dip it in water to help the marker bleed, or food color a little glass of water and then dip the coffee filter in and let it dry. Again, let it dry and then the color will absorb. Another thing you could do is use cupcake liners. They'll be smaller, but it's the same principle, right? Cut that little triangle and then roll them. You can find so many vibrant colors in cupcake liners. So that's another option. Okay, so I've twisted this one a little tight. I decided I want to add one more layer. So I'm going to just start rolling my second coffee filter around. And this will give me a bigger blossom, a little bit more full. Again, it's not the same coloring, so that'll look a little funny right now, but you can get the idea. Okay, so here we go. You're welcome. It's fun when you guys have comments and questions for me. That makes it really fun to teach, so thank you. Okay, so you can see here, it's just a little bit more full, okay? Oh, that's what's fun about being at the PAC, phone calls. Call in. Ask us questions, we love it. Okay, so my next step to make the stem is I'm gonna start towards the base of the bud that we just made. I'm gonna wrap tightly my pipe cleaner. Now, if you're doing this with kids, pipe cleaners are probably the easiest choice to use. Okay. But if you're making these a little bit more refined, you can go ahead and get floral picks, and we'll talk about that in a second. They're a wooden pick and they have a wire attached to it, so you could wrap the wire and then have the green pick. Okay, so you can see here I've wrapped the base of my flower. I'm gonna add a leaf just for some zhuzh. Here we go, little leaf. Okay, I just bent it up, and then I'm gonna give it one more quick twist to keep that leaf in place. Okay, and there you go, a little rosebud. You can see it's really pretty. You can put them together and make a little bouquet. I just think that's really pretty. Okay, so that's our first one with our coffee filters. Our second flower today is using a few different materials. Again, they're a little sturdier materials, maybe more of an older child adult project. Okay, again, we need our scissors. You're gonna want some cardstock. This is a different paper than construction paper. Construction paper is a little more flimsy. It's a little bit more, I don't know what I want to say. Easier to crease, things like that. Definitely more geared towards like children's art, where a cardstock is what you would use for scrapbooking, card making, things like that. It's a thicker paper. This is a 65-pound cardstock, and we're gonna work on our little rosette. I've started, so this is where we're going. So I'll just show you the first steps here, and then I'll finish up on this one so you guys can see a finished one. But again, this is more of an open floral rosette. So we'll need our cardstock. You'll need your scissors. Instead of floral picks, I found these skewers in my parents' bar, so I'm borrowing their skewers, and I painted this one green just for effect, but they would come like in a natural color like this. And you also want a hot glue gun plugged in and ready to go. Okay. Whew. It's warm in here. Alrighty, the first step for our cardstock rosette, we are going to cut out a big circle. So this is a half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. While I'm cutting this out, if you're watching today, February 3rd, today is our last day to reserve your free gnome kits. It's our next event in our Take Then Make kits. You'll pick them up Saturday or Sunday this weekend, but you need to pre-register so we can have the kit ready. So again, the last day to do that is today. So please, 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 if you're thinking about doing it, please call us or go on to Ticket Leap. It's completely free. We just need to know so Jamie and I can package them all tomorrow so we're ready to go for this weekend. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut this kind of an oval circular shape out of your cardstock, and then you're going to cut a spiral pattern into that. The last time I feel like I cut a spiral pattern into a piece of paper was probably when I was like 10 or 11 and I was making like spiders dangling from the ceiling. So like kind of like those dangle decorations that you would see. So anyways, just brought back a little memory for me. Okay, so I'm gonna start, I'm gonna give it a decent sized petal. Okay, so the width of the petal will be how deep you cut your spiral. So I'm gonna just cut a spiral. You don't wanna cut all the way to the middle. You're gonna wanna leave just a little bit of a base. So I'll show that in just a little bit, but I wanna make sure that I'm cutting an even spiral around. So what I mean by that is like the loose part or little tail here, you want that width to be even as you go. I'm gonna keep cutting until I get to the base. And again, I want a nice base for my flower. So my flower base will be about this big, okay? The second step after you've cut your spiral, so it should look like this. Again, keeping it, like you can picture the spider, right? Dangling, doo 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 doo. Maybe we did pumpkins, I don't know. And I think I wasn't 11, I think I was in like 1st or 2nd grade. It's all coming back to me. Anyway, I remember taking my project home and being like, Mom, let's make 1,000,000 of them. So I could decorate my room. Anyway, I have a little weird bump there, so I'm gonna just cut it off. Okay, so we have our spiral, we have our center. Starting at the end, we're gonna just do a practice round for wrapping our flower. So this little point here is gonna go in towards the middle. And again, thinking about that rosette shape, it's a little bit tighter in the inside, and then the flowers come and they bloom outward. Okay, so you wanna think about that. So I'm gonna do a practice, what we call a practice wrap. And I'm gonna start tight in the middle, and then I'm gonna loosen as I go. I'm just gonna I'm kind of like rolling it between my fingers here. If there's anything you'd like me to demonstrate for those of you who are watching, please let me know. You can email us at Plymouth Arts Classes, Plymouth Arts, and then instead of center, it would be classes at gmail.com. If you miss a live session or you want to go back and rewatch it, they're always on our Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel, so you can watch us on YouTube, well me, I should say, on YouTube, and all of the past ones are up there, I think besides the last one in January. I re-edit them and then I put them back up, a couple. Oh, thank you, Holly. Hi, Holly. Holly's watching. Appreciate the comments, guys. So I'm getting a little, still, it's like 70, 72 degrees in here, so I'm getting a little sweaty. But that's okay. You didn't need to know that. And here we are. Okay, you can see I'm like twirling, ooh, ta-da, twirling it, trying to get a practice wrap going here. I'm gonna finish this up as I'm yip-yapping away. I am also working on our summer class schedule, and we'll do probably a lot of classes outside. We have a beautiful back patio. It's breezy, it's cool, it's nice. So if you're interested in adult and kids classes, we are going to be having that booklet available soon. Okay, so I just stuck my finger in the middle here, but you can see I've been wrapping my flower, okay? And then there's that little part that we left in the middle, okay? Like this. Okay, so that's our base. And then here's our middle. So again, this is just, it's not being held together. Oh, that actually turned out really pretty. Yay me, I'm proud of myself. Okay. So it's not put together yet. We still have to go back and re-glue, but this practice will give you like an idea of how big it is. and how the twirl that you did looked, okay? So I'm really digging how that's turning out. Again, I'm gonna loosen it just a little bit to make it fuller, okay? So I can kind of see that shape and what that's going to look like. And we can play with bending and twisting a little bit later. Okay, so as you can see, I started hot gluing this one, but I'm gonna keep going. This one feels like this one feels good. So I'm gonna start over with this one here. So you can see I pre-rolled it, so it's a really tight coil now, and we can go back and start hot gluing. So what we're gonna do is take back the middle, okay? We're gonna take back the middle, and we're gonna start hot gluing just a little dot at a time to get our flower to stay together. Okay. So yes, our summer classes are coming. I'm hopefully gonna have our booklet ready by the end of the month, so early March we'll be ready to go for signups. You can see I put a little dot of glue here on the tail, and again, I want that to be my tightest part, so I want to be really careful when I'm wrapping it that I get it nice and tight again. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna wrap a little bit more. So I'm gonna just keep re-wrapping and then touching that with that hot glue to reinforce the flower to keep it together. You don't need to do this every twirl, you can do this every couple twirls. It'll just help. Ooh, it's warm. Please, if you're having a child do this, you're helping them with the hot glue. I feel like that's common sense, but I just want to repeat it just in case. I got really burned when I was in middle school. We were working on our Destination Imagination set, and I was hot gluing a piece of cardboard, I think, or something, on a PVC piping tube. We made these like humongous triangle things, and we were covering them with cardboard so we could add things to it. And I was holding it like this, and I was hot gluing here, and then the hot glue dripped, and I still have, you can see the scar in between my fingers of my hot glue. So I'm always just like really leery when people are using hot glue. I want to make sure we're being safe. Always think about that. What's great about hot glue guns now is they have low temp options too. And typically, I don't really believe you need a high temp, especially for anything that we're doing here. Now, sometimes you might need a higher temp, especially if you're doing a bigger project, but for all of my projects, you shouldn't need anything more than just a low temp. Having a little bit of stubbornness here from the flower, but we got this. This spring, we'll also have a few classes coming up. In 2 or 3 weeks, Mary Starnicki is going to bring back her Twinkle Twinkle Art Studio, and we're really excited about that. Kids in grades 1 through 6 are encouraged to come. We are going to be doing a snowman painting class. We're going to do big drawings, big paintings. That'll be really, really fun. At the end of February, Mary's going to do another beginning felting class. So last time we did like birds and other creatures. This time we're sticking with snowmen. We're going to do some more snowmen. I think that'll be really fun, really pretty. So if you're interested in learning how to do felting, come find out. Mary's just a great teacher. She was one of my middle school art teachers. I'll show you my progress here. You can see the rosette is forming, okay? I'm holding it together as I'm hot gluing. I've got all my little hot glue tails going on here. Later this spring, we have Frank Juarez coming, and he'll be doing a workshop. It's a 2 half-day workshop. So he'll come 1 half day, and then he'll come another half day, and that is taking your art as an artist and turning it into a business. It's a really cool workshop, great for professional development. And for people who want to kind of branch into that business sector, who are artists. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a really great workshop. And then Lori Barrier is coming back. She is going to be teaching a plein air workshop in June. So you can sign up for both days. You can sign up for 1 day. That's June 1st and June 2nd. And she will be back teaching at the PAC. We're really excited. So, should be a really exciting, fun spring. And then again this summer, we're working on our planning for what's coming up. All right, I'm almost done hot gluing here. Thanks for your patience. Just takes a little bit of time twirling. I think, you know, too, you get to know like what a good ratio is for how tight it should be, how loose it should be. So I've gotten to my base, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do because my flower is a little bit tighter than my base needs to be. So what I'm going to do, you can see here it's got like this tail, which is my base. I'm going to just kind of wrap it up and around to make it like one final little petal here. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to hot glue it up and around to like make the base flat, but to give it like kind of its own little accent petal. Okay? That's my plan here. See if I can do it. Okay. Like that. I'll just hold it. And I'm going to kind of bend the paper too, so it does what I'm hoping it'll do. And give it kind of a looser petal clean here. Okay, that's one. I have a little bump, so I'm going to just take my scissors. I'm going to cut and release that pressure a little bit on the flower, so it lays a little bit better. Okay. Now, as I was gluing near the base of the rosebud. Okay, so here you can see my rosebud, and maybe this will be a table rosebud, and it'll have a little bit of a flat part. That's okay, right? Now for our stem, again, I have my wooden skewer that I painted green. I can push that through because it's got a point. I'm going to push it through into the middle of my flower here. If I can find it. There we go. I'm going to pull it back. Okay. And then if you want to, you can add just a little bit of hot glue at the base to keep it in. Okay. Something else that might make this really pretty is to add a couple of green leaves to right at the base, like this. You could cut out another circle. Let me just finish. I'm just going to cut out the bottom of this one, like this. If you wanted, you could, excuse me, I'm going to just puncture it and slide it on. You could add like one more petal. I got a little frog in my throat, excuse me. Okay, and like that could help too to cover the hot glue. So you could add that to it as well, okay? Bend that up so it matches. There you go, little rosebud. How pretty. So today we worked on our tissue paper flowers, our little cardstock rosebud. Both pretty easy, both just take some practice of how to twist, how tight, how loose. So it might take you a couple tries. That's great, thanks for watching. We'll be back February, not next week, but the week after. I'm not sure what that date is. And I think it's, let's see, 14, 15, 16, February 17th. We'll be back with another art project from our virtual classroom. Thanks for watching. I'm Tricia Roberts with the Plymouth Art Center, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye now.